Good evening, everyone. Joe Muffins here, and today I I figured we respond to this user called Buffin Muffins. He did a video recently of him defending. I'm just gonna say Stool thing. Her old thing was called. Um, and I had problems with it. I am gonna make note of what I had problems with and either skip over or briefly say what I didn't have problems with. And yes, I skipped his beginning because literally he was just saying that he was sorry for not uploading recently, so I'm skipping over that part.
This issue isn't new. She has a terrible habit of simply refusing to put warnings on her videos and art. This is shown especially on her DeviantArt. She's been doing this since 2017. Hell, at one point she was even reported on DA, and she still didn't spoiler the reported image. However, the post where she complained about the image in question being reported was deleted as of late for some reason. This isn't an issue of the past, however. As recently as 6 months ago, she uploaded a video of her Sona hung, and even with the mass reporting, she didn't add an actual trigger warning. Vent/trigger warning. Wow, Cindy, that totally explains that in the video you drew yourself hung. She should have put suicide warning or something similar to that, but of course she didn't. She didn't even apologize to exposing over 500,000 people to that.
Cindy isn't obligated to add trigger warnings. I've been saying this used a lot against Cindy, and it's really fucking annoying, because Cindy is practically known for making edgy vent art. I would understand if she made edgy vent art once in a blue moon, but when that's all she draws, I don't think she needs to add trigger warnings. And about the video of Cindy Sona hanging, it's actually left ambiguous to what actually happened to Cindy in that video. And the reason why I say left ambiguous is because we never actually get to see Cindy's dead corpse hanging. We only get to see her feet. Who knows, maybe Cindy's sitting in a chair watching those little fuckers dance on the TV. It's up to interpretation.
Okay, first off, your argument is pretty much that, well, she's known for drawing dark stuff like that, so she shouldn't need to put a trigger warning. Okay, first off, that's a poor excuse. Even yes, if someone is known for drawing something, you can kind of expect that from them, yes. But that doesn't mean you just go on and have something like gore. Like, I've watched speed paints of My Little Pony dark speed paints, and every single one of them, even though the person has how many described it, every single one of them has a gore warning. So, no, that's not a good excuse for why she doesn't have a warning. And second of all, you cannot tell me her character is sitting in a chair unless she is like a baby. That her feet are too far off the ground to be sitting on a chair. And if she was just sitting there, why would she put the warning later on?
It's very well known that Cindy has a disgusting issue with her romanticization of abuse, kidnapping, and literal rape. She's literally seeing a therapist about her rape obsession. Now, this would be okay if she kept it private. She, of course, doesn't. She has an AU she posts about quite often describing her kidnapping and abuse by Nightmare Sands. And she hasn't publicly said it, but it's very clear that there's also rape in the story. She also has a pair of OCs that are almost entirely about domestic abuse. Now, once again, this would be okay if she did it respectfully in a way to not make fun of victims, and if she put a trigger warning on it. However, of course she doesn't. Once again, after mass reporting, she finally put a trigger warning on an animation she did depicting abuse. However, she actually put a proper trigger warning, so I will give her a pat on the back for doing the bare minimum.
Floofy, why did you sound like you were against Cindy getting help for her rape session? Also, since Cindy is getting help with her rape session, this point is irrelevant because it's something Cindy knows is wrong and is getting help for it. Also, no, it should not have been kept private. Because now that we know, we can give Cindy the help and support that she needs so she doesn't go out and actually rape someone. And for the Nightmare Sands AU, it's not very clear that there is rape in the story, and by the screenshots you show, it doesn't seem like Cindy is getting raped, but physically and emotionally abused. Again, it's ambiguous because Cindy never says that in the story she gets raped.
Agree with the AU thing about not specifically having that. I'm not sure if it does or not. What she shows doesn't prove it. I mean, I think what she is trying to get at is that the last one she chose where they're in bed, but that doesn't really mean anything. But just because she knows and is getting help, quote unquote, for it, because unless I have proof of that, I'm not going to believe it. Because people say it all the time, that doesn't mean it's true. But just because she says she's getting help for it and she may or may not know it's wrong does not mean she cannot be blamed for it, because not blamed for it, criticized for it, because that's like saying if I copy someone and said, well, I know I copied the person, that doesn't mean I'm free from the criticism because I said I copied the person, because that's not how that works. So
Now, before I even talk about Cindy's treatment of Charlie, I just want to say I am well aware of the recent information about Charlie coming out, and I absolutely will not be defending Charlie for that. However, Charlie's actions didn't happen for another month, so Cindy's treatment of them is still going to be covered here. Quick background: Cindy, 16 at the time, was friends with Charlie, 14 at the time. They naturally started to drift away, as they didn't talk very much, likely having to do with Cindy's constant grounding and her posting about Birdie, which will be talked about later. Charlie, having been abused, stalked, obsessed over, and doxxed by Birdie, clearly doesn't like him very much, so Charlie asked Cindy to stop posting about him, as he is truly a terrible person. Cindy began to guilt-trip Charlie, saying how she missed them all being friends. This spiraled further until Charlie had to ask for their OC, Ember, back, and then the two of them cut ties. Cindy, a sophomore, took to DA, vaguing about Charlie, a 7th grader. I should not have to explain why that is bad. It, of course, didn't end here. Cindy began talking about Charlie, who she referred to as Haim. Cindy has drawn 2 known images of Charlie dead, one of Birdie killing Charlie and several of Birdie's ex-lovers, ex-friends, and users known as Evidence Found. Another of Cindy herself ripping Charlie's head off.
I will admit that the way Sydney reacted in the situation was immature and toxic, though I get why Sydney acted like this. That doesn't make it okay though. This section is really short because I don't have much to debate about because I agree with Floofy in this instance.
do you understand why she did that or not? Because even if there is a reasonable reason why she would do that, no. Especially if she knew that he was in a toxic relationship with Birdie. You don't talk about somebody's abusive ex like you're still friends, especially to them. I don't care how you understand that she did that. You don't do that, period. Like, at all. How about instead of making it short, you try to explain why it's understandable?
We don't. Cindy, despite claiming the past that she is bi, is 100% heterosexual. This may confuse you as she has publicly dated a girl known as Kayla for 2, nearly 3 years. However, less known, as this happened in 2016, she dated a girl named Amanda. I am unsure for how long, though. It shows there's a pattern of Cindy, a straight woman, dating LGBT women. She also has several slurs that only LGBT people can reclaim. Hell, she even has an affinity for the F slur, which even if she was 100% a lesbian, she can't say, as it's a slur for gay men to reclaim. Her reason for masquerading and doing all of this? She didn't want to be lonely. In her relationship with Kayla exposes the fact that Cindy was actually quite abusive to her. Cindy would blame Kayla for things like how Cynthia, all on her own, posted that old same-face syndrome video that caused a stir in the community. Even though Kayla straight up told Cindy it was a bad idea, she still blamed her. Cindy would also post about how she was sexually attracted to Birdie, and even tell Kayla how she likes Jack and not her. For the last few months of their relationship, Kayla was told Cindy was straight, but Cindy still had her stay in the relationship.
This section just could be summed up to Cindy being an insecure bisexual that just doesn't like the fact that she is bisexual and just calls herself straight despite not being straight. And for the abuse allegations, we are literally shown no evidence of Cindy being abusive. All we get are cropped screenshots that are out of context and literally prove nothing. If you're gonna claim someone is an abuser, maybe, I don't know, show them abusing someone?
Alright, I agree with the no evidence that she was abused part. Yeah, that was poor on her behalf. But No, 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 no. You do not say you are straight if you do not swing that way. I'm sorry. If you swing one way, you do not say under any circumstance you swing the other way and expect people to respect you afterwards. You, especially now, you do not say, hey, I'm bi, but I'm straight. You don't say that. It makes no sense. Either you're bi or you're not. Because bi is different from saying you're a lesbian, but yet you go out with a man. Because that's what bi is. You can be with both. You have feelings for both. So I don't want to hear that you're bi and you're straight at the same time. It's not how that works.
It will be important to have a clear picture though. Cindy used to have a series known as Fangirl Mania, where she would find sans fangirls and put them on blast. In one episode of this series, she found a user known as Snow Pearl. In Snow's intro video, they stated that they're non-binary and use they/them pronouns. Cindy made a comment about Snow being a snowflake due to their identity, and Cindy's friends saying how it's cringy. Now, this could be brushed off by Cindy stans as, oh, she was just joking, and, well, Cindy's friend has a mind of her own. However, for the rest of the video, Cindy and her friend chose to insult and sexualize Snow Pearl's OC, commenting on their chest and their crotch. They keep referring to them with she/her pronouns just to upset them. This could be brushed off as a thing of the past, except for two things. One, Cindy never issued any sort of apology, and two, Cindy still does shit like this. Recently, her NB-phobia has been directed towards Charlie, not even putting in the bare minimum to use their correct pronouns at the time. Charlie now goes by he/they, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cindy couldn't even manage to do that. Her reason for this? Because she's not friends with Charlie anymore. So she just somehow isn't able to use their pronouns when people correct her. Also, oddly enough, she's somewhat transphobic to her idol, Birdie, making remarks about how he's not a real boy yet. She made these remarks in her weird sex daydream scenario she has, by the way.
Bro, they were like 12? Does that make it right? No. But do you expect a 12-year-old to have the greatest moral compass? No. And Cindy did not sexualize Snow Pearl. Snow Pearl sexualized themselves by drawing Sans with a hag-out face and by drilling their character with a popsicle stick dripping down their bowls. And for the Charlie stuff, Cindy just learned in the screenshot you've shown anyways that Charlie was non-binary. And since Cindy knew Charlie for a long time, even going back to when Charlie used to go by she/her pronouns, it is sometimes hard for people to adjust. And this probably isn't the only time Cindy has been corrected, thus leading to frustration. And before you say something like, this is the only comment I found on someone correcting Cindy, DeviantArt has this thing called Notes, where you can talk to someone privately. It's like the DMs of DeviantArt, essentially. Cindy probably got a bunch of notes calling them scum or something. Also, Cindy only calls Charlie she once in the comment you show. She at the time was probably still adjusting and thus misgendering them.
Okay, I know I just dropped the fact she has a sex daydream about Birdie on you, so sorry for that. Let me explain it in this next section.
First off, the snow situation, I actually have a problem with that because I do not see that one as a problem for the sole fact of who Snow was and was trying to be with the channel. They, them, it, whatever they're going by now, I have no idea. Okay, well, first off, the they, them thing is like, how many San fangirls have been that? How many cringy fangirls, period, been like that? I've seen several. So no, they're not wrong. That was a overused cringy trope. And as for the calling her anyways, so the whole point of that series was the whole point of that episode was making fun of her. And I would have done the same thing because that's normally how you make fun of people like that. Now, as for the other thing, that would depend on how many times specifically she was told his his proper pronouns. Because it's true that she'd only shown as being told once in the video, but your comment about her probably being told other times, then that doesn't make her innocent. Because if she was told a certain amount of times, then wouldn't you think she would have been able to get it by then instead of continuously doing it? But yeah, that moving on to.
She details how Birdie gets weird magic bottom surgery to become, quote, a real boy, because trans men aren't real men, according to her, I guess. I know she meant that he now has the body of a cis male, but god, she needs to be fucking aware of what she says. Anyways, she then explains how Birdie, who during the time of her writing that, already was in a relationship with two people, Jay and Julian, had sex with her and got her pregnant. Cindy has even drawn comics about this and even designed and given a personality to her and Jack's creepy-ass child. This combined with the loads and loads of Cindy x Birdie ship art she's drawn, the screenshots of Cindy saying she hates Birdie's partner at the time, Julian, and the fact she made a literal plush doll of Jack shows she's obsessed. Now, as many of you may know, Cindy is heavily copying Birdie, not just in art, but in personality too. As just mentioned, Cindy has made a plush doll of Jack. Not his OCs, literally him. Some of you may know, Birdie is an avid plush maker.
Why would you not just cut this out? If you agreed with it, don't continue playing it. Tell them you agree with the rest of the video, or if you have a maze or nitpick, say it. You don't need to let the rest of the video play like either you're making a commentary or you're just making a little, I don't know. Just don't do this. This is stupid. Okay, I'm just gonna skip the end of his video because pretty much all he says is he agreed with it, even though he shouldn't have let it play, just said it. And he was, once again, the parent saying why, the parent this to his first one he made. So I'm gonna just go into mine. This video had the only point he actually argued. He has so many plot holes and then it wasn't even funny. And I just don't even know where your sense of sensibility went. Now I will be doing I will be covering her video explaining what she's done and why she's done it. Whenever she managed to get it out, you'd think she would be able to get it. You'd think she would have gone out by now, but whatever. Maybe she's still thinking on what to do with the strip. But until then, I will be wondering and will be afraid of what she says and what part she feels she needs to offend herself on. But going back to this video was a mess. This video seemed like you rust. And even though there was a good point that you've made about her not showing real proof that she was abused, not her, but the one she was talking about. And that part was good, but like the rest of it, no. But that's all I have to say. If you like me making these kind of videos, tell me in the comments below and I'll maybe do more. Like I said, I will cover her, do you want to call it apology? I don't know what you want to call it, but I will be covering that. So, see ya.